Welcome everyone to All Things Fisker. This is episode number 20. Number 20, geez, as the time flies. Now, gone by pretty quick. We're at episode 20. It was just episode 1 when we got this thing kicked off. And tonight, I should add, we're streaming live on YouTube. Got my YouTube live chat up over here on the right, so you're going to see my eyes kind of go backwards and forwards if you're watching. And you might also be listening in. If you are listening in, you might be listening in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. Tune in. We're going to talk about that one a little bit later tonight. Pandora, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Those are some of the streaming services that we're on where you can find All Things Fisker, the All Things Fisker podcast, I should say. And you can probably find it on other streaming services as well. Just search All Things Fisker, and don't forget to rate the podcast. Some of the sites have a few ratings, but make sure to hit the star button or the thumbs up on those podcast services. And also, I should add, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button on this video. If you haven't already hit the like button, go ahead and do so. Maybe we'll get over 75, and Jim or Matt might actually, they might share some breaking news with us. Who knows? And if you haven't already downloaded the Fiskerati app on the Apple App Store, check that out. And it's also on Google Play. We're going to also talk about later the Fisker apps or what we're looking for there. We haven't seen an update yet. So, all right. Tonight on episode 20 of All Things Fisker, we got some good stuff to talk about. And after some quick shout outs, I'm going to kick things off with the latest Fisker news. Then we'll discuss the news and any interesting takeaways from this past week. And lastly, Jim is going to share some notable EV news with us, if there is any, and we'll have some good discussion there. And we'll go ahead and try to take your questions along the way if they pop up. Hello, Rosanna. Hi. She says to Sean, Matt, and Jim, hello. And if you didn't recognize our lovely co-host tonight, we do have Matt from Ocean Views. Hey, Matt. And we do have Jim from OSR Garage. Jim, go ahead and show us that cool signage that you have there. Where's the big circular OSR Garage thing? Let's see that. Jim was showing us this earlier. Boom! That thing's pretty cool. I like that. It's like takes up almost the whole screen, but it's really cool. It says Automotive Content Reviews OSR Garage, and if you see on Matt's screen, he has a Ocean Views Currents Flow Here logo in the background there. So welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight. How have you been doing over the past week? Are you guys doing good? Everything good on your side?
Going well.
Okay. Super. Now, let's go ahead and find out where everyone is joining us tonight. I asked that question before we got started. And we have Jesse joining us from Montgomery County, Maryland. And we have Iowa, Ocean 1, number 3487 to Todd. Welcome, Todd. We have Denver. Geez, where else do we have? Overland Park, Kansas. Jingesh, welcome back. He is, by the way, a Fiskerati club member here on the YouTube. We have Glenn from Norwich, Vermont. Cincinnati we have. We have in Atlanta. Fisker should have a pop-up location in Atlanta, as well as Chicago. We have a person here from Chicago, Weston, Florida. Geez, there's people from all over. Another Atlanta, Steve Chen, hello. So we got people from all over. Tommaso, hey, Tommaso, Los Angeles, welcome. He is also kindly supporting our channel as a member. Thank you very much. And a great contributor to the Fiskerati Forum. So thank you for your contributions. Love chatting with you there. Patrick from Long Beach, just north of me, not too far from Tommaso there in LA. Vancouver, there we go. There's our first international viewer of the night. Darren T from Vancouver, Canada. Fisker Ocean 1 number 4329. That's pretty cool to be able to call off some Fisker Ocean 1 sequence numbers in the chat. So that's pretty neat. We're going to actually talk about that later. We're going to talk about the second busiest build lock week coming on up. So there's a lot tonight's show. Let's go ahead and get started with the Fisker news. We have A couple things. So one last thing I want to mention before I start off reading the news. And then we're going to talk about all this stuff. We're going to discuss everything. Make sure to take the poll. We have a poll at the top of the screen and ask the question tonight. What's the most important part of Fisker's digital customer experience? We give 4 choices. Fisker infotainment, that's option 1. Option 2, Fisker's mobile apps. That's option 2. Option number 3, Fisker's website. That was option 3. And the option 4, none of the above. Option 4, none of the above. Go ahead and answer the poll. We'll talk about those poll results later in the show. Now, let's get on with the latest Fisker news, and then we'll get into a discussion with both Jim and Matt. So today, if you follow along on the Fiskerati site, you probably saw the article about the 7th edition, or maybe the 7th annual Autonomy Mobility World Expo in Paris, France. That kicked off today. It's Fisker's, I would say, 2nd pop-up location in Paris over the past 6 months. This particular event runs for 2 days from March 22nd to 23rd at the Porte de Versailles. And the Fisker Ocean is at the Allego charging booth if you want to go there and check it out. The last time we saw it was probably the Paris Motor Show. That was a pretty cool event. Thank you, Glenn Kahn, for covering that one for us and sharing all the photos and videos of that pre-production Fisker Ocean. It was probably one of the newest Fisker Oceans we saw on video. And then today we got photos and possibly some new videos coming out from Paris from Adam Jeffries. He shared those with me this morning. Thanks, Adam. And we posted those photos on the site. It was a Fisker Ocean with a Horizon Gray exterior, a black Abyss Plus interior, and 22-inch F5A air glider wheels. And among those photos, you probably noticed some Easter eggs that add a playful touch to the Fisker Ocean. Now, those Easter eggs are, I would say, discrete design elements, and we'll talk a little bit about those later on. And there were quite a few nicely captured ones, I'd say, in the photos. So thanks, Adam, for sharing those with us. I did a post about the Easter eggs to the Fiskerati forums. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and do so. Matt shared another Easter egg there. Thank you, Matt. And then Andrew, who also actually did a post about TuneIn. He actually works for TuneIn. Shout out to Andrew, who helped us get the All Things Fisker podcast on TuneIn. So he posted another Easter egg. So there's a total of 7 Easter eggs in the Fisker Ocean. That's what we learned when we were in Graz, Austria. Check them out. Let us know what you see in those, and we'll talk about them in just a few moments. Now, the next thing, the very next day, after All Things Fisker episode 19, which was last Wednesday, Fisker confirmed their banking relationship with JP Morgan Chase the next morning, and they officially confirmed they have no affiliation with Silicon Valley Bank. As the company said, they've received several media inquiries about its banking relationship. And it was Tommaso that called this out last week in the chat, referencing the at-the-market offering being with Chase. And of course, we did talk about the consumer vehicle financing that we've so much talked about. And we're still waiting, actually, to take advantage of Fisker Finance and finance our Fisker Ocean One. But I digress. Henrik was actually quoted saying in the press release, amid the turmoil in the banking sector, Fisker's relationship with JP Morgan Chase provides us with strategic financial strength as we launch our first vehicle, the Fisker Ocean. So they confirmed their banking relationship is indeed with JP Morgan Chase. And then we saw a video clip last week of the Fisker Ocean and its interior digital rearview mirror with a snow-covered rear window. I don't know who had a chance to see that. Maybe some people in the chat who are watching got to see that. But it was actually a cool video clip. It was maybe 15 to 20 seconds, somewhere thereabouts. And it actually showed how clear the high-definition wide-angle camera that is discreetly, I should say, placed underneath the rear spoiler. It seems to work pretty darn good. You could see the rear of the Fisker Ocean super well. And the Fisker Ocean was a Fisker Ocean 1. If you didn't notice, it had a 1 emblem on the rear of the vehicle, and it was in Big Sur blue with 22-inch F3B slipstream wheels. Those are the slipstreams in black. Now, that particular footage of that video clip was captured at the end of February when the Fisker Ocean was in northern Sweden for some winter testing. And the company clearly captured a lot of photos and videos, and we got to see that video clip and some of those photos on St. Patrick's Day. So that was on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. And it really showed the clarity of that digital rearview mirror. So there's been a lot of questions and chatter about how well you'll be able to see out of it if there's dirt or snow on the rear window, and you clearly can see well on it. So that's going to be fun to test out. It'll be good to see some firsthand experiences from our viewers and from our readers when they get their Fisker Ocean 1s and Fisker Oceans. So the next thing was over the weekend, you may have seen that post on social media from Fisker, as well as an email that came literally moments before we hit the publish button. It had to do with the recycled polymers and bio-based materials used in the Fisker Ocean interior. And it was shared on none other than Global Recycling Day. I was joking around to Matt and Jim at the beginning of the show saying there's a day for everything. Well, there happens to be a Global Recycling Day, and that took place over the weekend. Now, the aim of Global Recycling Day is to convey to world leaders the critical significance of recycling as a global issue. It urges the need for a cohesive and collaborative approach to recycling until such a unified approach is adopted. People around the world are really encouraged to view goods as valuable resources rather than as trash or waste. So by doing so, we can ensure that recycled goods are given the appropriate value and repurposing they deserve. So you may have heard the phrase reduce, reuse, recycle. Well, that's your, nothing's more celebrated than on Global Recycling Day. And the Fisker Ocean has 4 different things that Fisker shared with us. They said the main carpeting in the Fisker Ocean contains 71% recycled content made using recycled fabrics derived from leftover scraps and trims from fabric manufacturing. They said that the Feel Tech material that's a part of those Black Abyss Plus seats, that consists of an underlayer containing of 100% recycled plastic bottles and a flexible surface coating made from plant-derived products. We already knew that one. The Ultra Suede now, they said that contains polyester and 30% sustainable plant-based polyester. And then lastly, the Alcantara contains 27% certified post-consumer recycled materials. And they said that particular material has been certified carbon neutral since 2009. And speaking of Alcantara, maybe you, Jim and Matt, maybe you saw this. Bayou Bob shared on Fiskerati forums earlier this week. He shared the Alcantara art book. Who would have known Alcantara, the company? There's actually a company called Alcantara, and they made a book that showcased all the art that the art community builds using the Alcantara fabric. It's actually a pretty cool book. We saw it back in December when we did a little write-up on all the Fisker Ocean interior options, including Alcantara and the Feel Tech. Both companies, by the way, are based in Italy. And that book is pretty cool. So check out the post on Fiskerati forums if you haven't already done so. There's a little video that I posted as well, right below Bayou Bob's article that he found. Pretty neat. And who doesn't love art, especially art made of the fabric that some people will have in their Fisker Ocean. So next up, we learned that Fisker has started contacting customers on the Fisker Ocean 1 waitlist. You know, it was just a few months ago we were wondering, does the waitlist even exist? And lo and behold, it does exist. Fisker is offering customers at the very top of the Ocean 1 waitlist a chance to own one of only 5,000 launch vehicles ever produced. If your name is selected from the Ocean 1 waitlist, you'll have 7 days to respond to the offer, very much similar to the Fisker Ocean 1 and when everybody received their invitation to pre-order it. Now, Fisker will contact you to schedule a short consultation if you accept their offer, and they will discuss the pre-ordering process of the Ocean 1. Now, here's an interesting one. During the consultation, Fisker will address any questions or concerns you may have and collect the required deposit. And we know there's a lot of questions. There happens to be a big list of questions that is also on Fiskerati forums. If you recall, Fisker previously said the waitlist was 1,000 customers strong. And as we've personally seen some cancellations over the past couple of weeks of the Fisker Ocean 1, it's good to see these Ocean 1s getting refilled rather quickly. So that's some pretty good news. And then here we go. This is the one that I really like. This is a pretty cool story. The Fisker Ocean is going to have a partnership, as we all know, with TuneIn, or we did know that it had the TuneIn app, which looked like it was pre-installed. Lo and behold, it is pre-installed. And TuneIn announced with the press release just yesterday, they struck a partnership with Fisker. And as everybody knows, if they watch this show tonight from the top, that the All Things Fisker podcast is available on TuneIn. So check that out. Download the TuneIn app if you haven't already done so, and listen to the All Things Fisker podcast. Now, Fisker Ocean customers will gain access to a growing catalog of streaming audio content in 6 months of free access with TuneIn Premium. With TuneIn Premium, Fisker customers can access a variety of exclusive content. For example, live NHL, so the National Hockey League, I guess, streams live on TuneIn. In addition, college sports programming. And I think we're in the month of March Madness, so maybe you have an opportunity to listen to some March Madness on there. And then there's over 20 commercial-free music channels and top-tier news networks like ESPN Radio, MSNBC, my favorite, CNBC, Bloomberg, and Fox News Radio, without any advertising interruptions. All right, 2 more news bits to go. Next, Fisker was supposed to drop a new iOS app on, look at the calendar, March 2nd. Okay, we're past March 2nd. And Fisker was supposed to drop a Android app on March 16th. Okay, we're past March 16th now. There is still nothing to be seen there with regards to those apps on either Android or iOS platforms. The company has to get these apps right, as the digital customer experience is super critical to the success of the company. And especially because Fisker's, branding themselves as a digital car company. So they have to get the apps right. Now, we asked that poll question a little bit ago. Make sure you answer the poll question. What's the most important part of Fisker's digital customer experience? And hit the like button if you haven't already done so on this video. Now, the biggest story of the week, and we're going to kick this off with the discussion here in just a minute. The biggest story of the week was Fisker locked in hundreds more Ocean One builds, including customers this week in the United Kingdom for the very first time. That's right. The company has to be pretty close now to locking in all builds of the Fisker Ocean One for customers. There are probably, I would say, 1 or 2 more lock dates to go, but let's talk about that now. Matt, do you have any thoughts on this week's build locks that we saw with the Fisker Ocean One? Where do you think we are in the process of locking? I know you specifically ended up doing a really cool tabulation back in, I think, November, December timeframe, maybe even into January, and you did plot it on a graph, and we did kind of see, a waterfall or a bell curve of what the distribution looked like.
Yeah, I would say that March 13th had the highest number in our sample, and this past Monday is also, I think, the second highest, and I think next Monday is also going to be really high. So that's I think these 3 days are the bulk of the lock-ins, and okay. I've been watching the Facebook postings, and it's just like numbers flying through. I mean, there must be hundreds and hundreds of postings on the lock-in sequence numbers and all that. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, right. I think the one sequence number I saw that was closest to 5,000 was 4996.
Yes, I saw that one too.
One that I saw. Yeah, that one was the closest. I heard somebody said there was a 5,000 floating around somewhere. I don't know if that was real or not, and I didn't actually see a picture of it. But 4996 was by far the closest one I saw. Then there was actually, let's see here. There's a few more. I'm going to rattle a couple of them off. We had 2392, 2671, 2807, 3038, 3244, number 3630, 3667, 3694, 3867, 3885, 4091, 4238, 4597, 4674, 4759, 4091, 4098, 4729, 4955, and I did mention just a moment ago, 4996. As I said last week, those are your lottery numbers for Saturday. Make sure to get your quick pick or choose those numbers, and maybe you'll win. So those are some I'd say on the second half of the 5,000. Those are much higher up than what we saw initially. We did see some lower sequence numbers a couple, I don't know, a month or so ago, a month and a half ago.
Yeah, this week was a lot of 3,000 and 4,000 numbers.
That's right.
Is the bulk of it, yeah.
That's what I noticed too. And that means we got to be getting close to the end.
Yeah.
I know we originally had, I think it was like a November 22nd lock date, and then it got bumped to January 2nd. We were super bummed out, and then, time flew, and then January 2nd is now long in the dust, probably by like 2.5 months. So the time's flying here with the Fisker Ocean, tracking the Fisker Ocean, and just life in general is flying by. So that's kind of crazy. What else did we notice here? Let me see here. I did notice that, as I mentioned, the United Kingdom, who will have the first right-hand drive Fisker Ocean, a bunch of those popped up. The one I saw, Reading, was the first one I saw from there that was posted to the Fiskerati forums. And don't forget the Fisker Ocean ones in the United Kingdom, according to Henrik Fisker, and granted things could change. Here's a shout out to you, Tommaso, for sounding like a radio listing school closings for snow days growing up. Excellent. I love that. So the Fisker Ocean in the UK, I was reading Tommaso's comment. That was kind of funny. The right-hand drive Fisker Ocean will be delivered in July through September 2023 in the United Kingdom. That's pretty cool. We did see amongst all the lock confirmations this week they included a late Q2, Q3 delivery quarter. So that's, I think, probably the biggest takeaway. We saw Fisker Ocean 1 locks that were confirmed from Seattle to the Midwest. I saw a few in Minnesota. I saw one in Tucson. I saw one in San Diego, believe it or not, a couple in Los Angeles County area, Irvine, and then United Kingdom. So that was pretty much it, what we saw there. And I would say, like I did last week, Fisker definitely was on the ball this week with their locks. It happened pretty instantaneous. Midnight came around and everyone, was locked. And then soon thereafter, all the emails were fired off. And that was good. No one had to wait around 2 days, 3 days a week to receive their locks, so or their lock confirmations and sequence numbers. So kudos to Fisker for that one. That was pretty cool. Now we got somebody that just posted their sequence number in the chat. We've seen a few of them tonight. This is OJ Grace from Houston, Texas. Fisker Ocean sequence number 1447. I think I may have seen that one, OJ, over in the Fiskerati forums, but that is a good one. Now let's see.
Hey,
here.
Sean,
what else?
I want to add, anybody tonight who's gotten their sequence number, enter them on the Fiskerati forum. I guess the one thread that keeps track of them, because we have one of our members is updating a database, and I think it's important to everybody to do that and add their info.
Yeah, we pinned that one. I think I might have pinned that one to the very top of the forum. It's called Ocean Build Confirmation and Sequence Numbers. And let me pull up the list here real quick right now. And let me share my screen. Maybe that'll be kind of a fun thing to look at here. Let's share our screen. Thank you to Giuseppe, who's the Fiskerati forum member that actually has been doing this. They've been collecting this across all the forums, social media, and it's really cool. We're over now. Let's see here. We're at almost 850 people have shared and had their Fisker Ocean sequence number cataloged. And like I did mention, the highest number sequence number is that 4996. So that's what we have. 4996 is the highest number. The lowest number we have on the sequence numbers here on this cataloging is 0007. That still seems to be the lowest number, and that is Bergen, probably butchered that, Bergen, Norway. So in Norway, 0007 or 007 or 7.
It's a great number.
And that's a super great number. And then I don't know where that last one came from. We'll have to follow up on the Fiskerati forums with 4996, but that 4996 is a blue planet with Malibu and 22 F6 Vortex wheels. So pretty neat. But yeah, it's really cool just looking at this. If you guys haven't seen the spreadsheet yet, I'll go ahead and post the link in the chat right now, and you can go ahead and have a look. It is at the top of the screen. There's a Google Doc, and then there's a PDF. And Giuseppe's been updating it once a week, or maybe even in real time, but posts the update once a week. So pretty neat to see that. And maybe we'll get, at least 1,000 catalog. Maybe we'll end up getting all 5,000 catalog at some point. Who knows? So that's kind of a fun project that we're, keeping track of. So pretty cool. Next thing up on the list, unless Jim, do you have anything you want to talk about the lock builds? Did you see anything or hear anything? Anything interesting there for you?
No, I mean, I think the 0007, that's pretty cool.
That is a good one.
But
yeah,
other than that, yeah, that's all I see. I saw in the chat, looked like Joshua. See what it says. Joshua Gordon put in 318.
Oh, so 318. Nice.
Pretty low.
And I do see one right below that from Keith, 2695. So let's see, 2695. Nope, no 2695 on the list. Let's see, make sure I did that right here. Search the stuff. 2695. Oh yes, we do have you cataloged, Keith. Good job. And then let's see, 318, just for fun, since I have the worksheet up. 318. We do have no 318. So you, Joshua Gordon, you better head over to Fiskerati forums and post 318. Where your base, what country, and your build configuration. That would be pretty cool. And then we have another one. It looks like sequence 2121. That one is from. Let's see here. So who's that one from? JM. Whoever JM is. Go ahead and make sure to post your sequence number. Not in the chat. In the chat's cool. Like Rosanna just did 751. But post it over on the Fiskerati forum so it can be cataloged. I doubt Giuseppe's watching the chat here on this particular episode 20. So post them in the forum to be officially included in this cataloging of the Fisker Ocean 1 sequence numbers and builds. And then maybe we'll be able to learn some cool stuff from it. All right, let's change gears and talk about the photos from the Paris event, the Paris pop-up location that happened today. We posted some photos. Thank you to Adam Jeffries, who sent them this morning. He shared 20 photos. He also said he has some videos he's going to share if I wanted them. I said, oh, I'd love to have them. And I think the highlights or the takeaways from the photos, while the Fisker Ocean looks great in Horizon Gray, I thought the really cool takeaways from it were the Easter eggs, the hidden, the discrete design elements. And I featured one of them in the top of the article. It is the headlights. I don't know if you guys saw that, you, Jim, or Matt, but the headlamp, I didn't see it until I saw this photo. I've seen, loads of photos of the headlamps, the headlights on the Fisker Ocean, but just like the, Easter eggs in the interior, there actually happens to be Easter eggs on the exterior, one of which happens to be in the headlamps. So it took me a while to think of what it looked like, but the first thing I wrote down was fish scales. And I thought about it for a little bit more. I said, this is the Fisker Ocean. It's not, the Fisker fish or, something like that. So I did some Googling and I thought, okay, it's got to be the reflection of water. If you look at reflection of water in the ground or the ocean floor, you can see the shadows of the ripples of the ocean. And that's what I thought was resembled as a Easter egg, a hidden or discrete design element that happens to be on the headlights. So what did you guys see when you saw that? Did you think ocean floor or ocean reflection, or who knows? What did you think?
I saw it earlier and I'm looking at it again right now. And yeah, I don't know what it is. Is it like bubbles or something? It's kind of hard to tell.
Now, when I Googled ocean, what did I Google earlier today? I typed ocean water reflection. So if you go Google, if people like Google or use Google, I'm sure you can use Yahoo or Microsoft Bing or whatever you use. If you Google ocean water reflection, there's a whole bunch of photos that pop up, and maybe I can share my screen here for the people who are watching us on the YouTube, and maybe you can see what I saw when I saw these. So there you go. Here is my screen, and we have what appears to be a water reflection. You can kind of see the squiggly marks. In a way, it looks like it could be fish scales, but after I did some Google and I looked at some of these images, to me, it looks very much like that. It looks like reflections of water. You're looking basically at the different ripples or movement in the water and the reflection of the sun onto the surface of the floor. So that's what I got. That's one of your Easter eggs in the Fisker Ocean, or on the Fisker Ocean. Another Easter egg. Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh, we got some crazy flickering thing going on.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know why it's flickering using that app, but
yeah. So it's let me see. I can throw it up as well. I have this picture here. Let me throw this up. So we saw the water reflections on Google, right? And now we're going to throw up the actual images here from Adam out of Paris. Now, the Fisker Ocean's at the same place it was on over at the Paris Motor Show, the same conference center. And here is the water reflection. So you can see the reflection there. And I think it looks pretty much like the reflection of the water on the Google Photos. So that's one of our Easter eggs. The other Easter egg, let me throw that up. The other Easter egg that we saw was this one here. We saw the surfer. The surfer, I hadn't seen this, and I've sat in the Fisker Ocean a couple times, and I don't know where this is positioned on the car. It's somewhere within the one of those blue lines in between the circuits, the solar circuits. And it's somebody sitting on top of a surfboard with their hands and their feet holding onto the edge, kind of, hanging over the edge, waiting for the next wave on, or the next set in the ocean. So I thought that was a pretty cool Easter egg. That one is super hidden, and it's actually quite fun and playful. I'd never seen that before. That was the very first time I saw that. So that was a pretty cool one. And then we saw this one. We saw the one better, I think, than I saw over in Graz, Austria, especially on the brake pedal. You have what appears to be a little bit of shore, a little bit of ocean, and a sunset or a sun and a cloud. And then you have a little bit of the shore over here. So that's pretty cool, where the footrest is, and then you have the pedal and then the accelerator. I can't quite tell what's on the accelerator, but probably also part of the ocean, the ripples of the waves. But a really cool design element for the driver and people, maybe the passenger, who can see into the foot area. And then Matt shared some Easter eggs over on the forum. So let me pull those up. There was, let's see here, we got a couple, and this is actually quite fitting because Easter, like my daughter keeps asking every day, how many more days until Easter? And I have to keep looking it up because I keep forgetting, but how many more days until Easter? For those that are interested, 18 days. 18 days until Easter. But here we go. Here's some other Easter eggs. Speaking of Easter, oh, there we go. There's a Easter egg hunt right there. Here's the other one. Here's the one that Matt shared. You have what appears to be a wave pattern on the rear hatch, right where the curved glass is. So on that plastic there, you see the curve. And then we have also, let's see here. What else do we have? We have one more in here, I believe. We have the rock climber. We have somebody climbing up a rock wall, or a rock climbing wall. And this happens to be when you lift up the center console. So that's a pretty cool Easter egg as well. And that's 5 Easter eggs, I think. I think that's 5 we shared. Supposedly there's 2 more somewhere. There's 2 more. I don't know where they are, but there's 2 more. And if anyone can spot them or find them, let us know. Supposedly there's 7. That's what I was told when I was in Graz, Austria. And yeah, it would be good to know where those other Easter eggs are. Maybe we'll find them before the Fisker Ocean is delivered, or maybe when the Fisker Ocean is delivered. Maybe it'll take a while to find out where those other Easter eggs are. What do you think of those design elements, Jim? Have you seen any other cars do anything like that?
I think it's cool when they put those little Easter eggs in there. It's I think it'd be even more fun to find them yourself, not knowing them where they're at. So,
Yeah,
but it's pretty cool. A lot of manufacturers are doing that. The Bronco had them on it. There's several vehicles now that are doing that. I
I would
think
say
it's
also Jeep too, right?
yeah, Jeep does it also. I think on the Mach E, when you open up the door to charge it, on the inside of it, it says horsepower on it instead of fuel. So it says horsepower. So that's pretty
that's
cool.
funny. That's funny. Dude, what type of Easter eggs, if you guys know, do the Jeep and the Bronco have? What else do they have? Do they have drawings or illustrations, or what else do they have?
I mean, a lot of them do that similar thing, like putting little letters in the headlights, and then there's some that have like some etching on, like I think the Bronco. When you look at it, it's got like a Bronco like driving in the back window. Just little things like that. That's what most of them do.
Got it. So that's pretty neat. I've never seen that before on a car before, so I thought it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also too, in some of those photos from Paris, from that mobility show, I really thought it was neat seeing the Allego Charger. I personally haven't really seen one in photos with the Fisker Ocean. So this is kind of the first time I've seen the Fisker Ocean next to an Allego Charger. That's actually a new Fisker Ocean. I think I've seen a very old Fisker Ocean next to an Allego Charger, but that particular Charger looks rather new, very round, and looks pretty neat, pretty huge actually, compared to say like a Tesla supercharger. Not sure the reason for that, but pretty neat. And then they had a really cool backsplash or backdrop for the Fisker Ocean. They had somebody on a surfboard catching a wave, and you saw the words "Fisker splashed in a clean future for all." So that was pretty neat. I think it was much more nicely presented than maybe at the Paris Motor Show with the bank. But hey, anytime the Fisker Ocean's on display for people to see, I think that's awesome. And then we also got to see the Fisker Ocean, a lot of the steering wheel, I would say, all the buttons on the steering wheel, the turn signals, the gear shifter, the buttons on the left and the right. So there was a lot of photos taken there. One thing I noticed this go around on the Fisker Ocean photos around the steering wheel, the plastic cover that covers up the airbag looks actually really clean. We've seen before some images where it's not, you could see like the seam break where the airbag was. That's been long since removed now, it looks like. And it just means that the company's doing, maybe somebody asked this earlier in the comments on the article. They said, is this a production version? Was this created, post November 17th, after the start of production? And I don't have the answer to that. Fisker would probably be the only one that could tell us. But this particular Fisker Ocean has some very nice fit and finish. I think the materials look a lot nicer than the same type of vehicle, that Horizon Gray one that was over at the other Paris event, the Paris Motor Show back in October. So a lot's changed since mid-October of last year. And one thing I should note, Adam, who sent this, he gave me a whole bunch of, what should I say, a whole bunch of feedback, a whole bunch of comments. And I only included the ones around the interior, but he listed a whole bunch of stuff. And I just didn't have enough time to write an article on this today. I just wanted to get the photos out to everybody. But one thing he did say was that the vehicle had, I would say, a lasting impression on him. He was particularly impressed with the what he called the black interior, what I wrote the Black Abyss Plus interior. He said it felt more genuine, like genuine leather, than the Tesla's faux leather. And I would agree with that, having sat now and obviously the Fisker Ocean a couple times with that Black Abyss Plus, and then also the Tesla for the last year, and it's a year and a half. It's definitely a different texture than the Tesla interior. Both of them are good interiors, but I would say the Fisker's Black Abyss Plus, much softer, much smoother. It does feel really nice. Definitely a different feeling. Easier to clean, I believe, than the Tesla interior. I think it will wipe down much nicer, and definitely a lot easier to clean, in my opinion, than the other interior options. But Matt has the Malibu on order, and we will have to see what he does. Hey, Matt, are you going to end up using Scotchgard or anything on your Malibu interior on the seats to try to help with stains and things like that?
Yeah. Somebody had posted a couple of different stain protection, and I think I may do that. It wasn't very expensive. I think you can get it on Amazon and just apply it to the Alcantara and add a little protection. Why not?
Yeah, I think that's a wise move. I am not going to put anything on the seats, but or any of the interior, does that matter? Because I think it's as you know, with the Tesla, pleather, it's pretty easy to keep protected. It's already plastic, so it wipes pretty nice. And the one thing that gets stuck on the faux leather, the pleather of the Tesla seats, and we'll have to see on the Fisker Ocean Black Abyss Plus, but we use a lot in this family. I don't, but in this family we use a lot of sunscreen. We use a lot of sunscreen because we do a lot of outdoor activities, and sunscreen, when that white sunscreen hits the black pleather, that's a mess. That's a pain to wipe off. Secret, here's a pro tip for people if they're interested in trying to clean that off really quickly. And I know people still have a lot of sanitizer from the pandemic. I use that stuff every day, all day long. Still kind of a habit. But if you get a little bit of that hand sanitizer, put it on a napkin, a cloth, whatever you want to do, wiping off sunscreen comes off in a second. It comes off instantly. It works really well. So that's a tip if people have sunscreen all over, at least the Tesla interior. I don't know about the Fisker Ocean, but I'm happy to I'm happy to show people me covering the interior full of hand sanitizer and see what it does. So we'll get there at some point. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the Fisker banking relationship. I thought that was interesting. We talked about last week Henrik's quote, and Henrik ended up saying, we have no relationship with Silicon Valley Bank when he was asked that question. And then the company sends a press release out around 8:15 in the morning, and I think that was on Thursday morning, right after we did the show, and we talked about that. And kudos to Tommaso for reading, the 10K or wherever he found that information about the at the market program and the affiliation or how it was maybe underwritten by JP Morgan Chase. But the company came out the next morning and ended up saying, hey, we're getting a lot of media inquiries about our banking relationship, and we want to tell everyone, hey, we work with Chase and we have a strategic a partnership with them. And as we know, Fisker is going to use the Chase auto finance portion of the business for people to get car loans. And the funny thing about car loans is the rates are only going to go up. We talked about that last week. We said, hey, the Federal Reserve is going to meet today and they may increase interest rates. Lo and behold, with all this banking crisis going on, they didn't do a half-point increase. Rather, they did a quarter of a point increase. So it will be interesting to see what happens on Fisker's website when we go into that price estimator and we go look at the financing options. Now, I will say this. Fisker's website was super slow forever, up until maybe a week ago. That website, the Fisker website, fiskerinc.com, hauls butt now. The site loads so fast. It is probably one of the fastest sites I've seen on the internet. I'm not joking. I'm being actually really serious. It is so fast now. Everything I click on, I don't know what they did. I said in a post when I talked about hey, it's time to design your Fisker Ocean. I said, oh my God, the site has so many bugs and problems, and somebody just needs to throw hardware at it. Spin up more cloud servers, do something. Well, somebody got the message. Someone's either spun up more cloud servers or they figured out the bugs. Thank God. And thank you, whoever the engineering team was, who's on the engineering team who did that, because the site is cruising now. And do you guys see that in the chat? Is anybody else noticing that the site's super fast? Because it's super fast. I don't know about the Fisker app. I still can't log into the Fisker app on my iPhone. It doesn't work. I just get stuck in hey, keep logging in after I log in all the time. So maybe someone will listen to that one. Maybe they'll help out there. But the website itself, super fast. And I've already logged in just now. I clicked on my order. All my orders load instantly. I'm going to go see two things. I'm going to see what the net trade-in estimate is for my Fisker Ocean. When I'm doing my Fisker Ocean price here, I'm going to trade in the Tesla Model 3. And I've been doing this, and when I originally did it, it was like 3,100, I should say that 31,000, 30,000, 31,000. It jumped to 32,250. I did it the other day, yesterday, and then it's jumped now to like 33,525, and I'm going to do it right now for fun. And we're still at 33,525. The interest rates, which I was most interested in seeing here, that's why I logged in. We're still at 6.3. Actually, no, I think that may have gone up. 6.3%. Let's see here. Fisker Ocean financing. Let's see. What was it at? 6.3. Does that sound right, Matt and Jim? Was that what it was at, or do you guys remember?
I think it was 6.3 last time I checked.
Okay. So that hasn't changed yet. Maybe that'll go up a quarter of a point. I don't know how that affects. When
usually some delay. Yeah,
some delay. Okay, so we'll have to keep tabs on that one. But someone asked me earlier today in some comments somewhere, they said, has Fisker reached out to you to finance your Fisker Ocean 1? The answer is no. I haven't received any correspondence yet about my financing for my Fisker Ocean 1. So that's still to be done, and we'll share our experience when we go through that. Now, moving on from Fisker's banking relationship, we have the digital rearview mirror. Did you guys see that video clip? The rearview mirror video clip? That one was kind of interesting.
No, I actually didn't.
You didn't? All right.
No,
that's good. Let's throw it up. I'm going to throw it up on the screen here, and we will look at it together, and I'll have to mute it because it plays some crazy music. Let's see here. So let me share my screen, and we will have a look at the digital rearview mirror. Now, Fisker didn't share the clip on social media like for everyone to see. They ended up doing it in a story, and stories vanish, I think, after 24 hours. So we pulled it off of the Instagram stories, and here it is. Here we go. This is the clip that we talked about earlier, and you saw photos before I show the clip. You saw this photo. You saw a Fisker Ocean 1. It happened to be a Fisker Ocean 1 in the snow in northern Sweden. And then you ended up seeing the other photo, which was right here. You saw the rear of the Fisker Ocean covered in snow from probably the rear tires kicking up, or the tires kicking up, snow or dust, dust snow. But you wondered, how could the driver possibly see through this? There's no way. And then, lo and behold, we'll get to that one in a second. Ooh, those are fun. So here's the video clip. There's the digital rearview mirror right there. But let's look at the video clip here real quick, and I'll blow it up. So there it is. Hopefully you can see that on the screen. And they basically just hold the camera right here on the. I think they go back to it, but yeah, you see the digital rearview mirror and a couple bits. Yeah, you got to watch that again.
Yeah, I think I did see the video, but it went by so fast that I don't think I remember seeing.
So quick.
the
also
mirror.
too, if you look right here, I wondered what that was. So if you look at the B pillar on the vehicle. You'll end up seeing right there. Oh, I should stop it. But like right let's see here. Let's stop the video next time right there. If you look at the B pillar, and maybe I can fast forward a little bit. There's I don't know what the heck that was. Lo and behold, it's a sticker, and the sticker actually says electric vehicle. And I don't know why it says that. I don't know if that's like a regulatory thing they have to do when they're testing stuff. But when this particular image was shared, so if we go look at the images that were shared back at the end of February, you ended up seeing a Fisker Ocean, you have 3 Fisker Oceans together. And there was like a little, I don't know, a little vertical rectangular thing on the B pillar. And I wondered, what is that? I haven't seen that design element yet. Definitely not an Easter egg. But I thought maybe it's something new. Maybe they offer it, maybe it's, I don't know what it is. I don't know what that is, but like maybe it's a camera, maybe it's something. And lo and behold, it was a sticker that was placed on the B pillar, and it just says electric vehicle. And I think there's like a slash and a number. I can't make it out, but electric vehicle, that's what it says. So yeah. Oh, I think I hear, Jim, I think I hear some background noise on your side. So let's go.
I'm muted.
Oh,
I'm muted.
Crazy. Cool. Well, thanks. Sorry about that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next thing here, the recycled materials, Global Recycling Day. There's obviously been a lot shared on the Fisker Ocean as it comes to global recycling. As I should say, there's a lot that's been shared regarding recycled materials, right? We know the Fisker Ocean's interior uses plastic water bottles. It uses fishing nets. It uses upcycled. They use upcycled rather than recycled t-shirts. But I think that's pretty neat that you can take, trash, if you will, and turn it into treasure. I found it kind of neat to see some of those percentages that we really haven't seen too much of. Fisker ended up releasing their ESG report last year, and that actually goes into quite detail about what the company's doing from an ESG perspective, though it didn't actually, or I missed it. I didn't see anything when it came to, how much, recycled contents are a part of the Fisker Ocean interior, other than the poundage or the kilograms. So it's over 110 pounds of recycled materials. And, I think that's neat. You put it into perspective, though, like, how heavy is the car? Several thousand pounds, couple thousand pounds, several thousand pounds. So a small portion of the overall car is recycled materials, at least on the interior. But still, it's neat to have an interior with recycled materials, a sustainable interior. And that's kind of where the company's, moving. They're moving towards, at one point, a totally carbon neutral vehicle. So at the end of the day, the car's built in Graz, Austria, CO2 neutral factory. It's got a sustainable interior with the vegan interior. And it doesn't matter whether you get the Alcantara, the Field Tech, or, whatever it is, the fabric, the eco fabric, it all is, sustainable materials, or uses a portion of sustainable materials. So that's neat for the company to share that. The company's been super quiet on social media, at least since last Wednesday. And I always find it surprising. I try to, just for fun, to do something on the side. I try to write an article a day, and sometimes it's hard to think about what to write. And it's always nice when Fisker comes out with something like Recycling Day, and they show all the the percentages of the contents of the interior, and that's something neat. I think that's pretty neat, and it just helps us us to catalog everything and stay on top of what the company's doing. So I think that's neat. And the Global Recycling Day has a bigger message than just using sustainable materials. It's just around recycling in general, and making sure that we don't treat everything as trash. Things that could be trash can actually be turned into something else. So if you do have an opportunity to recycle, recycle. And I guess that's all I'm going to say on recycling. Do you guys have any thoughts on recycling, about the sustainable interior? I think more cars are moving towards materials in the vehicle being recycled or sustainable. What are your guys' thoughts overall on this? Do you have any?
I've noticed quite a few car companies are doing it, and it's usually on their EV products. Unfortunately, some people are not happy about that. I don't know why, but it's good for any vehicle. I think if you can use recycled or upcycled components to reduce waste.
Yeah, I think it would actually make it easier to replace pieces and products uh, using recycled stuff than actually using having to create something new and have something and made. So, you're looking at using items that are already around. So I think it's a plus.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think it's definitely a plus. I think one interior most recently that I saw was the Polestar SUV. That used a lot of recycled materials and sustainable materials in it, and it looks beautiful too, just like I'd say the Fisker Ocean interior does. So yeah, I don't know too many other cars that have a recycled interior.
You
I
saw an
think there was.
Aria.
Okay, I was gonna say a Volvo. I think I saw some commercial with a Volvo. I can't think of what the model was, but like you said, Matt, it's primarily the EV products is what I see, because maybe it's just people. Maybe it's catering to the market, people who are maybe are looking to go green, if you will, and have an EV instead of using gas vehicles. Maybe they're more interested in sustainable materials. Not sure. But I think it's definitely a trend. It's at the start, and we should expect more from Fisker on that across their entire line, whether it be the Fisker Ocean or the Pear or the Ronin or the Alaska truck. So that's something that we should see. Let's see what they do, pushing the boundaries and making the interior richer, making it more luxurious using these particular materials. And like I always say when we talk about sustainability and recycled materials, the T-shirt I'm wearing happens to be, I think, like 98% recycled water bottles. So I find it hard to believe this comfortable T-shirt is made of plastic water bottles. Like, how do they do that? It's mind blowing. But if you can make a T-shirt out of it, you can make interior seats for a Fisker Ocean or the carpets. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's see. Do we have? Let's see here. The BMW Gian says my BMW i3S is 80% recyclable. Pretty neat. Didn't know that one. What else do we have here? Let's see. So, okay, let's move over to the tune-in news. Tune-in. Did you guys see that one? What do you think of that? Tune-in. Do you guys listen to Tune-in? Do you use Tune-in?
Yeah, I use TuneIn all the time.
Jim shaking his head no.
Yeah, it's built into my Tesla. So like your car,
That's right.
It's built in. So it's great. I use it for podcasts. I use it for some. I use the free version, and even with the free version, there's tons of stuff on it, tons of content. And I think having the 6-month premium demo would be great to see. I guess it will have more music channels and music you can select that's more customized, and probably something similar to what Spotify does, I guess, in a way. I think it's a great addition.
Yeah, me too. I just grabbed my phone to look at all the podcasts that I listen to. And the funny thing is the podcasts just happen to be actual TV shows where they take the audio and turn it into a podcast. So like, look, here's like all the different ones that, if I can get the glare gone, but like there's all the ones that I listen to, and they're all just CNBC shows. So I go for a run. If it's a 30-minute run, I'll throw up Last Call, Brian Sullivan. That's his new show. Good show. And I'll listen to his news, or I'll listen to, the Halftime Report, Fast Money, Mad Money. I know people hate that show, but I like it. I like always listening to the monologue. It's great. Just like I love listening to like Jay Leno's monologue. I always loved that. That was fun. And then Squawk on the Street. I usually start off as Squawk on the Street. Always a portion. It seems like almost every day, or at least 2 or 3 times a week, you end up getting some bit of automotive news from Phil LeBeau on Squawk on the Street. So he had a little piece yesterday. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was talking about EVs and Ford, I think it was he's talking about, but he somehow always ties it to demand and supply and just whatever's going on. So I don't know. I find those shows neat, and they just happen to be podcasts. And the app that I showed was actually my Amazon Music app. But you know, when I get the Fisker Ocean, because it has TuneIn, I will probably have that as one of the favorited apps, if you will. I don't know how it's going to work. Like the oh, I love that. Jim has to step away for a moment, so he's putting his automotive
autopilot
OSR garage. Yeah, he's on autopilot right now. Full self-driving over on that screen. So,
I want to add something else.
Yeah.
I know some people in the comments talking about Sirius XM. I think Sirius XM, if they add the streaming app for that, since there isn't a Sirius XM antenna, you know, they could do a streaming app in the infotainment media section. I think that would be a great addition. My wife just loves Sirius XM on her car, and I tell you, to get around the high prices, you wait till it's about to expire, and you just say you're going to cancel, and you can get it for, like, I think I've gotten as low as $4 a month, and you book it for like 6 months or a year, and you can get a super low rate on it. So
that's pretty good. And
a tip on Sirius XM.
Yeah, that's a good tip. That's a good tip.
Never pay full price for it. So
that's how it works, by the way, with internet. If you pay a lot in internet, you always wait till the end, and they transfer you over to their loyalty program, and you can always end up typically getting a lower rate on your internet price. So there's another pro tip for people that want to save money on their monthly internet bill. Now, OJ in the chat ended up asking a question. He says, I'm dropping Sirius XM for sure. I wonder what TuneIn will cost. So TuneIn, there's a free version and a paid version. The paid version will come for Fisker Ocean customers free for 6 months. They call it TuneIn Premium. And then after that, I looked last night, it's $7.99 a month. So you end up getting, you know, ad-free everything, and then you get some extra channels. I think it was like 20 extra channels. Maybe it's even more than that.
Do they have a discount if you do an annual 12-month?
Ooh, I didn't know. They may.
Some things do.
They may. I ended up. I didn't see that. Let me see if I still have it in my browser bar. Let me type in TuneIn and see what pops up. TuneIn premium pricing. Is there an annual? It basically gives me two options. It says, oh, you're right. It does $7.99 a month. Oh, and then they have in the little tiny writing, or $69.99 a year after a 30-day trial. So you get a 30-day free trial, and then it's either $7.99 a month or $69.99. So there you go, OJ. That hopefully answers your question. And I love Sirius. I have listened to that for years. I think it's a great service. I really enjoy it. I used to listen back in community college days. I listened to the Howard Stern Show all the time when it was on my local Rock 105.3. And then I don't think it's on there anymore. I think it might be exclusively on Sirius XM radio. I haven't listened to it forever.
On Sirius XM.
Yeah. So I don't really listen to that show anymore. I might if I had a Sirius XM show, but it's definitely not family friendly. So I probably wouldn't listen to it for that reason anymore. But the thing that I really enjoy on Sirius is what they used to do. I don't know if they still do it, but like 60s on 6, 80s on 8. I think they might have done. I don't know if they still do that, but I really enjoyed those channels. I thought
they have even more digital channels too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think they may have integrated
hundreds of channels.
I think they've integrated Pandora into it. I think there's I think they acquired Pandora, and then they did like a whole bunch of integration with Pandora. So that's actually kind of neat. You get actually bonus channels with Pandora in Sirius. So that's neat. But I don't have a Sirius subscription, so
I just use Pandora.
Yeah, Pandora's good. I actually right now have an Apple Music subscription, so I listen to that for music, and then I use I think on my Amazon Music app, I listen to all the podcasts, even though those are free on virtually every streaming service. But I just try to keep them separate, so I have things favorited in certain apps. And then I have Spotify on my phone, and I listen to Spotify primarily for Disney Storytime. Yes, Disney Storytime. That's where I use my Spotify. Okay, on to the next one. I do think TuneIn though is pretty neat. I'm excited about that, and I have to mention it again. The All Things Fisker podcast is on TuneIn, so when you're sitting in your Fisker Ocean, you will be able to listen to All Things Fisker podcast in the ocean. That's pretty neat. It's also because we do know there's a couple certified integrations, I should say, and that was shared from Andrew, who actually works at TuneIn, who actually posted to the Fiskerati forums yesterday, and he actually said someone asked him about the integration, and he actually ended up saying that iHeartRadio was one of the certified integrations. So TuneIn, iHeart, and Spotify, those were certified services that'll be in the Fisker Ocean. So the neat thing, you'll be able to listen to the All Things Fisker podcast on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. So it'll be interesting to see what other services that support, what other services will pop up as pre-installed apps on the Fisker Ocean that also offer All Things Fisker podcast. And this catching on, this is the All Things Fisker podcast. We got all sorts of people downloading it. So it's pretty neat. Pretty exciting. Now let's talk about this one. This one's kind of fun. Fisker's apps. Fisker ended up telling us on the earnings call. They gave us some really cool news, really neat news to look forward to. They said, hey, March 2nd, we're going to release two different things. We're going to release a new website. It's going to have some enhancements in it. They're going to have some really cool stuff like a price estimator. You're going to have a hub called My Fisker where you can look at it. That's going to be on the website. You're also going to be able to see this on the new iOS app. They're going to release an iOS app on March 2nd. And then they said, hey, on March 16th, you're going to end up having an Android app. And I thought, oh, wow, cool, two new apps. I have an iOS device. I have this iPhone 12 mini. And unfortunately, about, a month and a half ago, I took a spill running and scratched the heck out of my phone and my hand, which is finally healed now. Still have a little bit of a scar there, but I got all chewed up from the crazy rains here, and I ended up slipping, foot got stuck, and I biffed it and scratched my phone. And I thought, okay, that's a bummer, but one thing I can look forward to is the Fisker iOS app that's coming. Even though I have scratches on my screen, I'll be able to play with this new app on my phone, but I still haven't seen the app show up on my phone. And I don't think as of earlier today.
I just checked like 15 minutes ago, and it's not there. So
bummer. What a bummer. What a bummer. So that's a delay that we haven't seen. And as I mentioned, kind of in the news, while this time frame or this timeline, this date has come and gone, I'd rather Fisker delay their iOS and Android app if there's bugs. I don't know what the reason is why they haven't done it. Released them, but I would imagine it has to do with bugs. Maybe they, learned something from their website and all the feedback that they got. Geeta, she said, I can't wait to, I don't know if she used those exact words, but she did say, I want customer feedback. I want customers to give feedback. And oh yeah, we gave feedback. All right. We definitely gave feedback. And maybe they learned from everyone's feedback, and maybe they saw, okay, the iOS app and the Android app, maybe they were buggy. Maybe they had to go through quality assurance again, QA, and maybe people had to bug test them, or maybe they created some automated bug testing and QA scripts, and maybe they found some more issues. And I'd say it's better to get those bugs fixed. When I was developing apps over at Amazon, we would do loads of regression testing from previous builds, and we would end up going through all of our test scripts, both manually and automated, and we would make sure, as a product manager, I was a senior product manager, it was my name that was on the line for an app that was released. And we had so many different apps. We had a product manager for, iOS, and one product manager for Android. We had one for the web. We had one for the Kindle. We had one for the Fire Phone. We had one for virtually everything. And the thing is you were responsible for making sure the code you were shipping was bug free or close to it. And if there was a bug that you were shipping, you had to obviously make everyone well aware of it. You had to update the customer service team so everybody knew what to expect when it was released to the App Store. And that's something that I think Fisker could learn from. They could definitely leverage somebody's expertise that's worked at one of the big tech companies to make sure that they have the proper procedures in place in order to get the apps out there and have the best possible customer experience. Now, speaking of customer experience, we asked the poll question earlier. We asked, what's the most important part of Fisker's digital customer experience? And we gave 4 questions. We said Fisker infotainment, Fisker's mobile apps, Fisker's website, or none of the above. Okay, what do you guys think? I mean, maybe you voted. The number one thing out of this poll question, we've had 100 we got a couple people. I'm going to give people 10 more seconds to vote. Looks like we have 105 votes so far. 105, that's a pretty good sampling so far. I think there's 96 people watching us right now. We have 106 votes. Okay, here we go. I'm going to end the poll. And the poll is now ended. And here are the results for the poll. What's the most important part of Fisker's digital customer experience? Number 1, with 60% of the vote, that's like 61 or 62 people, said Fisker infotainment. Number 2 came in at 17%, very close to, and that was Fisker's mobile apps. And then number 3, none of the above, and then that was 16%. The 4th result was Fisker's website. People don't really care about the website as much as they care about the infotainment in the Fisker Ocean vehicle itself, followed by Fisker's mobile apps, and then none of the above. Okay, 2 questions for you guys. What did you vote for? Or what did you vote for? And then what do you think none of the above is? What other options are a part of the customer experience? What, you hopefully everybody knows I can only select 4 options for the poll. I could have listed probably a few more. But first off, did either of you vote in the poll? And if you did, what'd you choose? And why'd you choose it?
Well, I voted for the infotainment because it's basically the heart of the car. And if it's not good, then there's going to be some upset people and some issues. Look at Volkswagen. Volkswagen is still trying to fix their software in their cars. Even the new ones that are coming out with the newest software, they're still having glitches and bugs and stuff. Whatever's going on over there, they can't figure it out. It's better, but it's still not fixed, and people are still complaining about it. So, that is going to be a major thing. That's going to be the most important thing. What the none of the above could be, I really have no idea. I don't know what else they could be thinking that was more important, but people have their priorities of what they think is important. So,
what about you, Matt?
Yeah, I totally agree with Jim. I'd say the infotainment is something you use every time you drive the car. You're going to see this screen, and it's got to work, and it's got to work well. So I definitely think that's where they should put all the emphasize getting that correct. And then number 2, the mobile app in a way is pretty important because you may need to use some things to control the car with the app. Say with your phone, you may need to, open the windows. There may be some turn on the HVAC. You want to prep the car, cool it down in the summer or heat it up in the winter. I think that's a great feature to use on your app. As far as like the website, I think you're only going to use their website for ordering the car and probably never go back again. But and also the none of the above, I don't know either. I don't know what else would be involved that would be part of the digital experience.
Yeah, I thought those were the main 3: the infotainment, the mobile apps, and the website. Me personally, as I created the poll, I can't vote in it, but I would have chosen the Fisker infotainment as well. Now, Fisker added probably when they re-updated their website a while back, not on March 2nd, but a little bit before that, they had a picture of the mobile app on their phone. They actually have a few pictures of the mobile app on their phone. One of the pictures, and I'm going to throw it up on my screen right now. I'm sure you guys have seen this, and if you haven't, you will here in a minute. There is a picture of the app, and I don't know how old this app is. I don't know, what the story is here, but it has a couple options. When you go to the little car tab over here, you have a few different. I'm guessing you can swipe, left and right based on this little option doohickey down here at the bottom. It looks like, okay, I'm right now on the vehicle, showing me the vehicle's unlocked. I can tap a button. Like you said, Matt, you can use, the app to do things. When I can lock and unlock the car, I can sound the horn. I can use California mode. I can tap it, and then I can open the tailgate. Now, this particular screen here reminds me a lot like the key fob itself. These are probably things that would be a part of the key fob. And since the app is going to be a key in of itself for a lot of people, you won't need to bring, an actual key fob. You're probably not going to end up getting a little, RFID key card. But your phone, if you have a smartphone, which most people probably do, you will be able to use it to walk up to the car, have it automatically unlock. And in this particular screen, if this is similar to a production version of the app, you'll be able to tap a button, and it looks like a palm tree that says California mode, and all your windows go down and presumably up. And then you can open up the tailgate, and it'll open, and then you can unlock, and you can sound the alarm, presumably for, emergency or to draw attention to yourself for whatever reason, for safety purposes maybe. So that was kind of interesting. And then let's see here. There was, let's see here. What else do we have? There was just this week, for people who are following along on Fiskerati forums, there was, and let me see if I can share my screen here on this one. There was a update to the Fisker investor presentation. I don't know if you guys noticed that one, but in that particular, I'm going to throw it up right up here right now. Here is the new Fisker investor presentation. It's over in the Fiskerati forums for anybody that's interested. You can check it out in the shareholder section. What I noticed here, I'm going to just scroll through, and we're going to go through a couple of them real quick, but I want to go down to the digital customer experience. There we go, the unique digital customer experience. And if you look at this picture here, I don't know if I can zoom in, how well I can zoom in, but there you go. You see the app that the person's holding. And this particular investor presentation, it's actually not scrolling in. Here we go. Scrolling down, and we have, there we go. Now it's
I
such
thought
a
my
delay.
screen had locked up for a second
I'm
there.
sorry. Such a delay. Such a delay. Here we go. So there you go. There is, hopefully you can see the app. That's as far as I can zoom in. But the app looks a little different than what we saw on the Fisker website. You do see doors unlocked, and they've actually made it a little bit nicer design, maybe a little bit more modern. And you have, maybe you turn the sound on, turn the HVAC on, the AC heater, whatever it may be. Lock and unlock the car. That's probably what the button is that the person's pressing here. And then it looks like you can toggle. It says time to warm up something. I can't barely read what it says, but you get an idea of it says view all. You're on a view all screen, and then it says 62%, 217 miles. So it gives you, how much battery you have left on the car. So pretty neat to see this particular screenshot of the mobile app, presumably the latest one, maybe the latest version of the app, in the investor presentation that was released yesterday, maybe on Monday. I think it was yesterday, because I check this, a couple times a week, and I didn't see it last week. So I'm going to go with it is pretty new. I think it's within the last 24 hours. That's my guess. Not too much new information here, though. It does say unique digital user experience that bring digital user experiences that bring class-leading convenience and delight to our customers, driven by a human-centered design philosophy, delivered over the air to the car and through the connected Fisker vehicle app. So that's pretty much it. Fisker is going to have a Fisker Cloud. They call it the Fisker Cloud over the air platform. They have a picture of it right here. It's the comprehensive OTA strategy. We've seen a version of this picture before. They do have the Fisker app here, and my guess is you're going to be able to buy, if you don't have all the add-ons and all the different packages, you buy them from the phone, you buy them possibly from the touch screen, and they are sent from the Fisker Cloud to the Fisker Ocean, your Fisker Ocean, and it says right there, subscription. So that's probably my guess, kind of how it's going to work. Probably very similar to other vehicles. And it said current expected OTA over-the-air packages include the Fisker Intelligent Pilot, the ADAS package, the Ultimate Entertainment package, the Performance package, the Winter package. And then for leased vehicles, optional over-the-air revenue over a lifetime. That's what they're hoping. And it allows for multiple sales at the same OTA, the over-the-air package, throughout a leased vehicle's lifetime. So from one leased customer to the next, that same Fisker Ocean can be monetized multiple times for the same package because it's a brand new car, a brand new experience for the next owner once it's reconditioned. So they'll have to purchase whatever features they want in the future. So yeah, pretty interesting. That's the app, that's the experience, and I hope that the infotainment experience is what we hope it's going to be. We hope it's fast, performant, very much like the Fisker website is today. Now, here's the screen. We're still looking at my screen here. You can see the updated reservation chart. There we go. There's the updated reservation chart. And that's pretty cool. They have, you can see the graph goes up and to the right. That's a good thing. We don't have any dips. And Fisker has, as of the earnings call, which this particular chart is as of February 24th, 2023, up and to the right, 65,000 Fisker Ocean net reservations. That includes orders as well as cancellations. So it looks like it might be leveling off here a little. Maybe we'll see a reacceleration once Fisker Oceans are delivered. The customer, the company, I should say, says as deliveries begin, Fisker expects increased brand awareness to drive even more customer consideration and demand for the Fisker Ocean. So that's interesting. Do you guys have any thoughts on either the app or reservations as of right now?
I'd like to add for the app, I hope there's some level of customization. On my Tesla app for my phone, it has the ability to have a commonly used functions on a row, and you can swap things out, move things around. Like, for example, the lock or unlock or the horn, all those things you can rearrange. I hope they do something similar to that. You never know. I mean, that first display we that was shown with with what looked like a digital version of the key fob, maybe those individual things can be changed depending on what you want or like to see or use often. So I think that would be a pretty cool thing to have.
And to your point, Matt, I'm going to stop sharing the screen for just a minute and zoom in on my phone here. So there's the customization in the Tesla app. That's so much glare from the computer screen, but they allow you to actually long press. If I long press here, maybe, let's see, long press, the car's probably starting downstairs. Come on, long press. There we go. There's the menu, the action sheet. And then you have all these different options that pop up. I can do, honk the horn. I can do the trunk, the ventilation, summon, car alarm, all sorts of things. So that's pretty neat. That's actually the first time I've actually seen that customization section. You have the same thing, Jim, on yours for your Ford?
Yeah. Pretty much, it's basically the same thing. I can actually scroll up a little bit, and then I can start it, unlock, lock, honk the horn, and the lights. It tells me that it's reached the target, and I can press detail button on that. And then it tells me how long it charged, how long it's been plugged in, how much energy it charged for, and then I
That's
can
good.
actually hit a button to charge to 100 if I want to. It'll just automatically do it.
That's good. Yeah, I have got the
And
card
then,
downstairs right now, plugged in, and I actually just changed it to 80% charge while we're here right now because I've run the battery so low that if it's not going to be able to charge up to 90. I usually charge it to 90%. It won't be able to charge over 90% without going over 6 a.m. in the morning. So it goes from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. So I don't want to pay premium prices after 6 a.m. So I just lowered it down to 80% to get relatively a full charge.
Yeah, and there's another thing that Ford's been doing this Ford Pass app for a really long time. So it has all the information on there where you service history, maintenance schedules, all of that.
Warranty information, it looks like. Collision assistance.
Yeah, roadside service, collision.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. So they've been doing it for a long time. So really at this point, when somebody's creating an app for their phone, all they got to do is go look at the manufacturers that have been doing it for a long time and say, here, obviously they've gotten a lot of feedback from their customers. So they've got the stuff on there that their customers have wanted over the past, 5, 6, 10 years. They just need to model it similar to that.
Yeah, that's right.
Even Tesla too. So.
Their app has changed a lot over the last 5 years, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, another thing that I saw, I don't know if you guys had looked at that investor presentation or, how close you may have looked at it, but one thing that I saw, which I thought was kind of interesting, and I tried to search through the conference call again to see what the company was doing with their experience centers. I don't recall them talking about anything more, I think, than like a dozen lounges and center pluses on the earnings call in whatever that was, end of February. But in the investor presentation, they actually talk about, there's a slide dedicated to Fisker lounges, center plus, and service plan. So they say this, they say, as we all probably know, Fisker lounges, the retail showrooms, the experience centers will be the primary physical touch point for prospective customers, providing the opportunity to experience the company's vehicles and speak with product experts. And then it says Fisker Center Plus locations will serve as showrooms, delivery centers, test drive locations, and Fisker operated service centers. The slide goes on to say over 20, so this is kind of maybe new news to me, maybe I didn't see it before, but it says over 20 showrooms, center pluses, vehicle processing centers, and service and pickup locations are either secured or in negotiations in Europe and the US. So that sounds like more to me than what I heard on the earnings call. I need to double check that, but I could have sworn I heard 12 or a dozen. But now this investor presentation, which just came out yesterday, says 20 showroom center pluses and vehicle processing centers. And then it says our service model consists of comprehensive network of Fisker and third-party service options, including 1, Fisker operated service centers with Fisker Center Plus locations, 2, Fisker mobile service fleet, 3, partner service and repair centers, and 4, certified Fisker collision repair network. And I know Henrik talked about that and how it's expanded since the last earnings call. So those are a couple tidbits. Maybe there's something new in there. I think that 20 showrooms is center pluses, vehicle processing centers. I think that might be a new number. So pretty neat. I would say, aside from those things that I mentioned, the company has changed a couple other slides. I'm going to go ahead and pull the deck back up here, and I'm going to show 2 more slides for fun, but there's a couple other changes. I'll show a few more. There's this slide, which I thought was kind of funny. Let's throw this on my screen one more time. As everybody probably knows now, if you follow along, that Fisker had announced the Fisker Alaska truck, their fourth vehicle, on the earnings call, right? And in this particular deck, it doesn't actually say Fisker Alaska as the fourth vehicle. So they've actually changed a lot of the slides out. They've redesigned it, I should say. The whole thing's been redesigned. Maybe easier to see the most important points, which is probably really important in an investor presentation. But you see the fourth vehicle here. Now it's totally identifiable that is a truck. It's got a truck with gigantic wheels. So you can see how high it is off the ground. Those wheels are huge. And it has a short bed, very much like the photos of the Alaska truck that we've shared in the past. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That's kind of maybe a new image of a red sheet over a truck with really, really big wheels, and it says details for Fisker's fourth vehicle.
I think they did an AI image creation for that one.
You're probably right.
Because it looks a little comically off.
Yeah,
balance.
It does. Don't those wheels look huge? They look pretty big, right? They do look pretty big. Then again, they look huge on the Ronin. They do look big on the Ronin, but those look extremely big, like a monster truck, a low-riding monster truck. So who knows? But yeah, that's the fourth vehicle. They did say more details will be revealed at a later date, and I think they may have mentioned on that earnings call that it'll be they'll end up revealing more information or show images of their whole lineup, this whole product pipeline, at some sort of a shareholder annual shareholder presentation, annual shareholder meeting later this year. And I think I looked this up last week or the week before. The last shareholder meeting, I think, was in June timeframe, if I remember correctly. Fisker's annual shareholder meeting. Let's see here when it was last year. It was in. Can I find that real quick? Let's see. Fisker's annual shareholder meeting. I'm going to look that up so we make sure we have that one on our radar. I think it was June of last year. Might have been July. Okay, I can't find that one real quick, so we'll have to get back on that one. But that's when we should see kind of the full lineup, and we'll find out, does that truck really have that big of wheels or not? Those will be like 25-inch wheels. That'd be pretty big. Maybe they're that big. They look pretty gigantic. So let's go through a couple other slides that I thought were interesting in here. There was a slide past the team here. Those are all important people, I'm sure, but let's go past that and look at this slide. So here's the pricing, the competitive pricing. So the Fisker Ocean, as well as electrical vehicles and internal combustion engine vehicles. So Fisker's vehicle, they have a low end still on here. They're still sticking with this $37,499 or the $37,000, and then $69,000. And the car still seems priced right when people talk about price. And if you look at, since the most obvious, they include Tesla Model Y, and that is priced at $55,000 through $59,000. So that's the most current price. And this is as of 2/14/2023. So the highest priced base model, I should say the highest priced Tesla Model Y, according to this slide is $59,000. And the base model Fisker Ocean Ultra is $49,900. And then you have the, maybe $999, and then you have the Fisker Ocean Extreme at $68,999 or somewhere thereabouts. So, competitively priced, I'd say it is. And you have your ID4 Gym that you got rid of, $39,000 to $55,000. And then what else do we have here that we recognize? You ended up doing your Ford Mach-E. You did a comparison on that one, $46,000 to $70,000. So that's quite a big range there. So I thought it was neat. They updated all the prices of the Fisker Ocean as well as all the competitive vehicles in this particular chart. So that was neat. And then down here, they basically have the same thing, and then they plotted it out to kind of show it. So just another way of looking at it. You have the Fisker Ocean, and then you have premium brands and non-premium brands, and kind of how it prices out. And this is kind of based on the price to how many miles you get, the EPA estimate right now for, I guess, the Fisker Ocean, and then you have all the other EPA estimates or actual results from the EPA listed. So Fisker Ocean still is leading by, I would say, class. It's still a class leading vehicle based on this particular data. I think that's still fair to say. One can argue, feature by feature, and what they like, what they don't like, what they want to pay for, what they don't want to pay for, all that stuff. But anyhow, those are some slides that I thought were kind of cool in the deck. And then that's pretty much, I would say, was the main bits that have been changed. This slide looks a little bit different. They're actually showing now sold out of the Fisker Ocean 1 here in the United States, or actually that says globally, and then the Ultra and the Sport in the United States. So they've added this information here. The Extreme still open, and I wanted to talk briefly about the Fisker Ocean Extreme. So if people didn't know, if you go to Fisker's website and you look at the top of it, it does say now accepting extreme orders. But if you click that, they actually take you to the reservation screen. You can reserve a Fisker Ocean. That's your first step before ordering, pre-ordering, etc. And if you haven't already reserved one, you would reserve one, and you're going to actually go to the end of the queue. You would be at the bottom of the list. And the people who are at the top of the list, like the Fisker Ocean 1 wait list, those are the people who are being called to order their Fisker Ocean Extreme. And they are actually doing this by invitation only here in the United States. So just because you have a reservation doesn't mean you can go order your Fisker Ocean Extreme. The thing that we saw a few weeks back when it was time to design your Fisker Ocean, that was primarily for people who had already pre-ordered their Fisker Ocean here in the United States. So as you see on this slide, sold out Ultra, sold out Sport. Some people pre-ordered that Fisker Ocean Extreme. Those people were able to go all at once and configure their Ocean, do their build, and send their order to the manufacturing team, the team that's in charge of the manufacturing orders. But you still have to wait now for everyone else who didn't have a pre-order in. You have to wait. It's invite only. Fisker's going to invite people one by one, and that's how you get an opportunity to order your Fisker Ocean, even though the site does say now accepting Ocean Extreme orders. So that's some clarity for you there if you were wondering. And hopefully that's helpful for people because I've got a couple people writing in about that, and I clarified with Fisker about that myself. So that is hopefully some good news for people, and maybe not so good news for others. Let's go ahead and take a look at the, what else do we have? Let's go ahead and take a look at the questions. Do we have any questions in the chat? And I should say, for the people who are watching, I think we have, I don't know how many people are watching at the moment. It says 90 something, 94, 95. If you haven't already liked the video, if you're enjoying us chatting, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Hopefully you do if you're still hanging out. If you could go ahead and hit the like button. It's at 52 right now. Maybe we can get it to 92. That would be pretty cool. So get your finger on your mouse or your tapping button and go ahead and hit the like button. That would be nice of you. So we can go ahead and have that video. The more likes we get, the more it's shared among other YouTube users. And that's a good thing. It just helps everybody. So thank you, Zuby. You just did. He went ahead and hit the like button. Thank you, Rosanna, for hitting the like button. Somebody asked a question. Since this is at the bottom, this one's super easy. Is the Pear sold out? No, the Pear is not sold out. The company did say that they had some, just under, I think, 6,000 pre-order or reservations for the Fisker Pear. I want to say it was 5,600. That's probably wrong, but it's somewhere thereabouts. And
I'm actually surprised it's so low.
I know, right?
You know,
People want to
considering
see
it's
it.
a lower priced car, and there's not a whole lot of cars 30,000 and under. So
True.
Small.
True.
maybe.
So I'm going to go ahead and collect. So quick, just to answer that question. No, the Pear's not sold out. You can get on the reservation list. We do have a referral code somewhere in the comments. You can look at the referral code if you want to use our referral code. And we reserved the Fisker Ocean and the Pear about a year and a half apart, I think it was. We did get the Fisker Pear. I think it was in August of last year. August of last year, maybe. No, it was before that, I think it was, but it was like 2000. I don't know, it was somewhere around 2000. I'll have to plot a chart and figure out when it was, but I wrote an article on that one just to document it, and they've gotten, looks like 3,600 or thereabouts after we did it. So while I compile some of the questions here, is there any notable EV news this week, Jim or Matt? Is there anything that you guys saw that was interesting?
Yeah, I've got a few things.
Go ahead.
Matt, you go ahead, because I've got about, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them. So go ahead.
Right.
Well, I think the big one was the Ford Explorer EV for Europe.
Yes.
Which was a pretty big announcement. It's going to be base platform that the ID4 and other VW products are going to be, also made on. Interesting. I'm surprised that they're calling it an Explorer, because it's about 2 class sizes smaller than an Explorer. I looked up the different Ford SUVs, and it's more of an Escape size, which is kind of surprising. Anything on that, Jim?
No, not much more than what you have stated. They haven't given out a whole lot of information on it.
I got a picture.
It is smaller.
Yeah, I got the picture up on the screen. Looks nice.
It's smaller than the Mach-E, which was a little shocking, and I don't know why they're calling it the Explorer. But yeah, it's fairly small. It's probably going to have around the same battery size as the ID4, so expect a 82 kilowatt hour battery, the 77 usable, probably around a 250 to 280 mile range max. It doesn't look like it's extremely aerodynamic, so I wouldn't expect too much more than that. It's not going to have a frunk, since it's built on that same MEB platform. There won't be a frunk. And
do you notice it looks similar to another car?
It does look so
my
similar.
wife said the same thing. And I was just like, no, I don't think so. But now looking at them side by side like that, yeah, it does look similar. Not quite along a hood.
It's about 11 inches shorter. So
yeah,
mostly in the hood, it looks like, right?
Right. Yeah, the ID4 didn't have a very long hood either. Maybe it's in that Pear size. I'm not sure exactly what the Pear is supposed to be, but it might be somewhere in that range. Which is why it won't be here in the US. When they build an Explorer for the US, it's going to be a full-size SUV. Probably every bit as big as the probably
Equinox.
like the EV9.
Would you say the Equinox or bigger than the Equinox EV?
Oh, it'll be bigger than the Equinox.
Yeah,
it'll be bigger than the Ocean. I'll just about bet on it. It'll be at least that big. So yeah, I would think probably more like the Kia EV9, that size, because the Explorer that we have now is 3 rows. So I would expect it to be a big one. So that covered one of the ones that I had.
Yeah, I think the other one.
It's really funny though. Real quick, Matt.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that image side by side, one going left, one going right. I think it's funny how similar the design is, and when the vehicle has the wheels rolling, kind of. I think it looks kind of similar with the Slipstreams, but the Keller is so close. They chose like a silver lining for the Ford. It just looks so it does look so similar in color and in style. But yeah, okay, that's enough on the Ford.
The other one I had was the Kia EV5, which is a shrunken version of the EV9, which looks very interesting and probably similar size to the Ocean, I'm guessing. Did you get any more on that, Jim?
No, I saw some of the pictures, and they had They had the I guess they want to call them saloon doors, where they both opened like that, and both of the seats would actually turn. The front two seats could turn and face outwards. So I'm not sure if that passenger front seat can turn all the way around or not. But I know in the EV9, the second row could turn around and face the third row, and turn and face the outward. So it looks kind of neat. I think it does look exactly like the EV9, just smaller. So it's like they just took the third row out of the EV9 and it's like, okay, here you go. So yeah, but it's still kind of a concept. The pictures that they were showing or basically look like the EV9 concept when they first released it. It has the weird steering wheel and all that stuff. So yeah, don't have a whole lot of other information on that.
That's all I had.
Okay. A few other things I had is this one might interest you guys, and I'm sure that you have seen it. So that one's popped up there. So Tesla Model 3 used prices are down more than $11,000.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's like one of the largest drops.
I'd say up about $1,250 thereabouts in Fisker's price estimator over the past week and a half, 2 weeks. That's good. I haven't checked Kelly Blue Book's website recently, but I'm hoping it gets over 40 grand. I'm mentally trying to. I've mentally prepared myself for 35,000 as a trade-in value, but I'm hoping to get in the 40,000s for our Tesla Model 3. But geez, prices are down more than 11,000. Yeah, that's a bummer. I did see a graph. I think it was shared by somebody that I follow from CNBC, and it's basically has a graph over the last, I don't know, was it 18 months or so? Basically, just a very a symmetrical bell curve, and we're back down to like prices from 18 months, 24 months ago. So things have definitely returned to, what is that, pre-pandemic or close to?
Right.
2 years, I don't know. Pre-crazy car demand. Let's see this one. What do you got here?
So this is actually a concept from, I think, 2018 or 19 that Genesis had out, and they are planning or looking into actually producing this.
So the headline for the people that are listening on the podcast, this is Genesis molds a small luxury electric vehicle based on the Mint EV concept.
Yeah.
Very sporty looking car, futuristic looking.
It does. Now, the front end of it looks a lot like a Model 3 to me. I don't know what you guys think, but I think it looks a lot like a Model 3.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Has a jelly bean design. It actually looks. I don't know why I think of it. I'd say a more futuristic looking Volkswagen Bug, but that probably is not what you guys see. But it's kind of got a bit of the hump, and probably not. But I see a little bit of a VW Bug in that.
Right.
Maybe I'm the only one.
So there's that one, and then what else do I have for you guys? The next one is this one here. So Hyundai Ioniq 6 owners, they will get 2 years of free charging with Electrify America, and that'll be 30-minute charging. So
Hmm.
Fisker needs to get on the ball there if they want to get some free charging from Electrify America.
Yeah, right. That's the one bit we're waiting for, right? We're waiting for. We got Allego, and we got their 1 year free charging for European customers. They also partnered in Europe with Deft, which is another massively large EV charging network. And then here in the United States, as everyone probably knows by now, if they've been following along, Fisker's partnered with ChargePoint. But customers here in North America haven't heard anything recently about any sort of free charging for their Fisker Ocean. And it would be nice to have something, because there was a partnership deal announced back in, I want to say, December of 2019. And I have a PDF of it somewhere linked on one article on the site. And it actually comes from a Fisker press release. So I'm hoping that they reconfirm that partnership or relationship with Electrify America, very much here like the Honda Ioniq 6, because who wouldn't love free charging, especially for a cross-country road trip?
Yep. All right. And then
now here's a question for you too. If the Fisker Ocean, or in your case, Jim, the Ford, if you were to get free charging for a year, 2 years, whatever it may be, like that Ioniq 6 there, would you go out of your way and change maybe the way you do things with your current charging and using your home EV charger? Would you go, if you got free charging, would you go to your local grocery store, your local shopping center, wherever there was free charging, wherever there may be a free Electrify America charger, or a ChargePoint charger, or EVgo charger, whoever Fisker may potentially have a partnership with, would you go out of your way to use that free charging near your home, unlike maybe a road trip? Or would you just stick with paying, the cheap rate that you would get with level 2 charging at home? What would you do?
So that question all depends on where you live, because we had 3 years of free charging with our ID4, but we charged at home because the closest Electrify America to us in any direction was over an hour drive.
Oh,
so
wow.
It would kind of be pointless for us to go charge for free and then drive home and get home with 60% battery left or something like that. It was just pointless. So we only used it when we traveled, and that's technically what it's there for. And that's one of the biggest problems, why there's a lot of these Electrify America stations are getting clogged up by other drivers, because they're like, oh, I get free charging, so they're just going and plugging in, and then they're just every day, or a couple times a week, just coming and plugging in because they get free charging. So, and that's kind of part of why Tesla is trying to get away from the cars that still have free supercharging. They're actually offering people money and an extra on top of, like, $5,000 on top of their car to trade it in on a newer model, so that they can get that car and wipe that free supercharging off of there, because it just causes more problems. You should be charging at home, but of course, it's different for people that live in condos and stuff like that may not have the ability to charge at home. And that's understandable. But there are just some people that just use it because it's free and will charge it and will leave their car plugged in and go wander off for 2 or 3 hours and come back. And Electrify America is supposed to have idling fees, but they don't. They're not charging people technically. So, it's a downfall. Now, like I said, we charge at home because there's nothing close enough to us. So
I'd like to offer a little differing situation. In my metro area, there's, I think, 4 Electrify America sites, and they're building like 2 more. One's 4 miles from my house. And it has like 8 charging stalls. So pretty big. And I drive by it all the time. And this week I saw a Rivian and a Ford Lightning next to each other charging. So a lot of people are using it now. And I don't know if all of the cars have. I noticed a lot of Hyundai and Kias, and I think they get free charging too. I think a lot of people are doing the free charging. I don't know. I mean, personally, I spend $30 a month on electricity. So I don't know if it's worth it to go twice a week to charge up. But yeah, I guess it depends on your area too. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on if Fisker offers free charging and whatever company they may partner with. It would clearly depend whether or not we would use it here, because we would have to, we would need something to do while the car was charging for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour and a half, whatever it may be. It's interesting that Ioniq 6 and Electrify America cap it at 30 minutes. So that's kind of interesting. You just get it quick and go.
Oh,
so what can you do in 30 minutes? You could do some quick grocery shopping if it's near a grocery store. But like eating dinner, like the worst is in Palm Springs. I charge the car at the Tesla Supercharger in Palm Desert, and usually it's a full charge down from 10% all the way up to, sometimes I do 100% when I'm on vacation. So it takes almost the same amount of time while we eat at the Babe's Barbecue restaurant, which I've where I boast about all the time. But sometimes I'll have to, leave early and go move the car real quick, or we'll just wrap up and go, just so we don't get charged any penalty fees or whatever those idle fees or whatever they call them. So that's the only downside. But locally here, there aren't any not near me that I can think of any Electrify America near a grocery store somewhere where I could spend 30 or 40 minutes other than maybe eating dinner out and about. And eating dinner out and about, you have the convenience of going out to eat versus cooking at home. But if you're trying to save money, well, I save money on the charging, but I'm going to pay 3 times as much for going out to dinner than cooking at home and charging my car in the garage. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see who they may partner with.
The other thing with the 30-minute charging is, now when we had our ID4, the 21s, they were unlimited. You could sit there, you charge for 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever you wanted to, however long it took you to get to how far you want to charge. Now after that, the 2022s and beyond ID4s, they only got 30-minute charging. And there's supposed to be idle fees, but they don't charge the idle fees for whatever reason. They can't figure out how to do it. I don't know, but they just tell people they're going to get idle fees, so it kind of scares people. I don't think they can figure out how to do it. The other thing is that you can technically unplug it, hang it back up, plug it back in, and start a whole nother 30-minute session. And so, it's kind of pointless to do that. I mean, if they're going to do a 30-minute session, it needs to be 30 minutes, and then you can't plug in for an hour, 2 hours, or something like that. But yeah, so that kind of defeats that whole purpose.
Yeah, that's funny. So you got another image up here. It looks like of a Tesla.
Yes. So my sister. This is my sister's new car.
Oh, nice.
She finally got on the bandwagon. She did it slowly. At first, they got an oversized golf cart. So that was their first electric vehicle. It was a lifted golf cart. And then they moved into a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, which was a 4xe, so it was a plug-in hybrid. So they tried that for a little while and had some issues with that and had to replace a whole transmission and everything with 16,000 miles on it. So they started looking around, and they have a very big F-250 truck that gets 11 miles to the gallon, and just using that to pull their boat and stuff like that. So they were looking at something that might be able to save them some money, and they gave me a call and asked me about the Tesla and what I thought about it. And they were looking at that or a Mach-E, but they liked the Tesla better. Because it seemed like it was roomier and a little bit bigger. And I think most of that is just because the Mach-E, the interior is still set up like a car, where the Model Y and Model 3, all you have is a screen. And it's basically the only thing you have sitting in the car, so it feels more open. So they felt like it had more room. Plus, and I told them they do travel. Sometimes they go down to Disney and stuff like that, and driving from where they live in Cincinnati all the way back to Illinois or outside Cincinnati all the way back to Illinois several times a year. I told them that they're probably their best bet right now is to do a Tesla, because you're going to have an easier time with your superstation, and supercharging. So versus what's going on with Electrify America and all the other ones. So that's what they got, and that's their new car. So they
Very
have now
nice.
joined
And
the
that's a Model Y, by the
EV
way.
family. Yes,
Yeah.
that is a Model Y. Did I say Model 3?
No,
I
I think you just said Tesla.
Okay.
So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if everybody saw what it was, but
Yeah.
it's
So that's their
or I
Model
call
Y.
it the fat Model 3.
Right. So I just have one more thing that people might find interesting. Probably not. It is not an EV though. So this is what I got I was driving around for the weekend.
Nice.
What is
And
that?
yeah,
Ford Mustang?
that's a Mustang GT 5.0.
What year?
It is very loud when you compare it to no sound. So this thing actually, they put a performance valve tuned exhaust on there, so I could actually change and make it extremely loud. But it was a lot of fun. Gas mileage really wasn't bad. It got 24 on the highway, so it was pretty good. But it was fun, and so videos will be coming out on that. That's about all I can say about that. There's not. I mean, it's just a gas car, so it was a lot of
Very
fun to
nice.
drive.
Very nice. Now, how someone asked this question, and I'll share what I'm doing. But here's the question in the forums of a recent one. They say, how much are you paying per kilowatt for charging your vehicle from home? So here I did a video on this. Matt and I chatted about this a long time ago, and it was funny chatting with Jim about this and Matt as well. So here in San Diego, we have the San Diego Gas and Electric. That's the company here that does our energy, and it's a regulated utility company here in the state of California. And they have a whole bunch of different tiers that you can sign up for as a consumer. And if you don't sign up to a time of use plan, or what they abbreviate it to as TOU, time of use, if you don't sign up for that, your kilowatt per hour, last I looked, was like, I want to say 36 cents or 42 cents. I can't remember exactly, but it was 36 or 42 cents per kilowatt hour. If you go on a time of use plan, your rate drops significantly, but you have different times. You have a different price per kilowatt hour depending on the time of day that you use it, time of use. So for example, when we charge the car during super off-peak times, which is Monday through Friday from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., we pay about 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour compared to, say, 42 cents during a non-time of use plan, peak, off-peak, whatever it may be. So the time that we always charge the car will be 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. On the weekends, that super off-peak is from 12 a.m. to 2 p.m. So on the weekends is when we do a lot of our laundry during that time to get the cheapest rate, the 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour, since our whole house here is electric. We have no gas in this house, no natural gas whatsoever. Everything's electric: stove, washer, dryer. I think that's a hot water heater, car charger. Everything's electric. So we save a lot of money by using the super off-peak hours. Now, if we use something, we then have what else do we have? We have peak time, and peak time for us is not when the super off peak is, and that is about, I want to say 30 something cents. You get penalized for using energy like right now. So for example, right now is a peak time because everyone's probably at home watching TV, using their computer. So this monitor that I have here, this whatever size screen this is, it's like the size of a TV. It's sucking energy, and I'm paying the most to run this particular electronic. or computer, whatever these devices are. So, maybe what I'm getting at is maybe we should move the show to like 12 a.m. when we're charging our car, so that we get super off-peak times. I'm just kidding. But no, that's how it works. 6.5 cents for super off-peak. What are you two at for your kilowatt per hour?
Matt?
I pay 13 cents flat with taxes and with I have credits for wind power and solar power. So, to offset my use. So yeah, it's for me, time of use, it doesn't make any sense because my rate's low enough already.
Question for you, Matt. What do you have for wind at your house?
Oh, I'm just saying it's the electric company has these credits that you can pay for to offset your usage, and it's a program. And
you like pre-buy. You pre-buy.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
And
it's
in
not
our
like,
state,
for example, like solar. You can have solar and you end up getting lower rate.
But in our area, we have a lot of solar plants. In fact, there's one right down the street from me that's over like a 10-acre piece of land that's all covered in solar panels that contributes to the local grid. And North Carolina over the last like 5 or 10 years has spent a lot of money encouraging people and companies to do that. So there's a lot of, they call them solar farms in our state. So it's and the western parts and the eastern parts by the ocean also get a lot of wind. So it's a good state for renewables.
Yeah, that's neat.
So we are, so our rate all the time is 10.5 cents per kilowatt. So
you're just south of Chicago in Illinois for the people that are interested in.
Yeah, about central Illinois. Yep. And I am actually not on like one of the big programs like Ameren or anything like that. I live out in the country, so we are on a co-op. So our prices are a little bit lower than what the average around here is. And then the other thing is I have a heat pump, heat pump / air conditioner on my house. So that I also get at another special rate, and that rate is about 7 cents a kilowatt on it. So, so that's where we're at. And our area in the Midwest, we are, it's pretty flat around here. So we have a lot of, as the farther west you go, you start seeing a lot of wind farms, with the windmills and the giant propellers up in the air all over the place.
So you said co-op for your energy company. Is there actually an energy company like mine, San Diego Gas and Electric? Do you have, what's the name of yours? Is it like
it's called Coles Moultrie Electric, so it's two like county names. And,
all right.
Yeah.
That's pretty common. Country,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the people who live out in the country outside of the cities and stuff, a lot of us are on more of that type of co-op stuff than we are like in town. In town, people are usually running off of Ameren, or it's going to be a city electric that's actually getting their power from Ameren at a special rate, and then so. But yeah, ours is pretty low compared to most people in our area.
Got it. Cool. Okay, so we have another question here that I'm trying to find the answer to real quick. So you have a question. Sean, do we have any idea who built the Pear prototype? I'm assuming Foxconn, not ready yet. So it's my understanding that the Pear prototype, the one we saw driving in Los Angeles over that aqueduct bridge, that was built by Fisker's engineering team in Los Angeles area. They have 2 offices there. Fisker shared in that investor presentation, they actually shared Fisker's global footprint, but they didn't mention one of the offices that they have. They have 2 locations, it's my understanding, in Los Angeles. One is the headquarters in Manhattan Beach, and the second is like the I don't know if the right term is like the Skunk Works, but like there's Magic Works in England, their technology center, but there's like a second place in Los Angeles where they build prototypes. And it's my understanding that's where the Pear prototype was built. Speaking of kind of just locations, Fisker says now they operate in 16 countries. That's their geographic stats. Countries of operation 16, global headcount 850. So they're in, they have San Francisco, they're in Los Angeles, they're in London, England, Munich, Germany, Graz, Austria, through, of course, Magna, Hyderabad, India, software development, and Shanghai, China for China parts consolidation is what it says. So that answers, hopefully answers your question there. There's another question about, will the Pear sit lower than the Ocean? I don't know about that one. It could. Do you guys have any thoughts on that based on the pictures we've seen?
It's so hard to tell. We don't even know the ground clearance for the Ocean yet.
Yeah, that scares me actually a little bit. Which is
somewhere between 6 to 8 inches, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I'm right now our Tesla Model 3, every time I go up our driveway
it's so close to the ground.
Yeah. I have to go up and then right at the end diagonal and creep over, and sometimes I just can't prevent it from, even trying so carefully, I can't prevent it from scratching, and it's the most awful sound ever. But it is what it is. I'm hoping the Fisker Ocean has a little bit more clearance than the Tesla Model 3, being it's an SUV, and it has big wheels on it.
Crazy?
Let's hear it.
The Mach-E that we have is only a half-inch higher clearance than the standard Mustang.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But the whole bottom part of it, you can open up the door and you can see this much of it is all battery going all the way across it. It's got a panel running across where you can see where the battery's at. So the whole bottom part of it's battery. But you sit higher, you get in there and you sit higher than what you would in a Mustang. But it's just the clearance to the ground is only a half-inch difference.
So here's a question here. Maybe the two of you know this one. So it says, tell me how the ultimate package makes sense. I see Hollywood mode and rain sensing wipers. The rest I have on my phone. How is this worth $6,000? What am I missing? That's Catherine Jackson. And I think, Jim, you may have done included, talked a little bit about the packages. Yeah, how would you answer that one?
The only thing I can say is get what you feel you need. If you don't see that it's something that you need to have on the car, don't get it. And I just thought it was strange with that package that the rain sensing wipers were thrown in there. It was almost like they thought, what could we put in this package that might cause people to actually purchase it? And it's like, oh, rain sensing wipers. It's like, I don't get it. That should be something standard. I have a 2013 Volkswagen Touareg that has rain sensing wipers on it. I mean, why are you going to pay extra for rain sensing wipers? That's my problem is there's some things on there that are included in these packages that should be standard on the car on all trim levels. I mean, that's my biggest problem with it. I understand that there's some things that you may pay extra for, some of the ADAS systems and stuff like that. That's normal. As you go higher in trims, you pay extra to get those things. But there's some things that should be standard that have been on cars for over 10 years. You shouldn't have to be paying extra for that stuff.
There you go. There you have it. I want to make one comment. It might have been Kevin or D-Man. I can't remember who said this, but here's a pro tip for people that like Christmas music. You're talking about Sirius XM radio. They said free Christmas music on XM radio during the holidays. So throw that out there because we were talking about that earlier. I made note of that. Thank you, Jim, for answering the gross vehicle weight question that was in the chat. Someone says, so does the internet access on Fisker, is it limited time or a paid service, or does it have download limits? And, we don't know at this point. I would imagine the vehicle is going to have some sort of free internet connectivity. Question is it, a 1 year, free for 1 year, like the Tesla, Model 3, Model Y, Model X, Model S, blah, blah, whatever. Or is it for, some trims? Is it going to be for the life of the car? Probably not. My guess is they charge a monthly subscription fee after a given time period, but we don't know as of this time. I doubt there's going to be download limits. I haven't seen that with cars. Maybe there are cars out there. Do you guys know of any cars that have limits on the internet connectivity?
Not that I know of. No.
Yeah, because these cars, they're collecting so much data as it is. They want to know where, where you're driving, how many miles, how, what features are you using. All that data is collected. In Fisker's case, they talked about in their investor deck, collecting all this analytical data. Well, the only way to get that analytical data out of the car is through the data plan and into what they call the Fisker cloud. So, yeah, my guess is it's probably not going to be limits.
No, I wouldn't. The car connection and what your streaming connection is going to actually be two separate things, because all that information that your car connection, for them to get all the info that they want to get from the car and to be able to give you the over-the-air updates and your app and all that all works as a separate function than the streaming. Now, what they could do with the streaming, though, it's probably not going, it may not be limited, but it may throttle it down. It may at a certain point slow things down to where you may not be able to stream things very well, or it's like a movie or something like that towards the end of the month or whatever. Some cell phones and packages and stuff do that. I don't think that would be likely. If you're paying for it, you're probably going to get full speed, but all the time. But that's the only thing I can see them doing is they may throttle it back some, but yeah. But those two things with the car connection with Fisker Cloud and all that stuff, that's all actually is separate from what your streaming functions will be.
Thanks for sharing that. And then we have the last question I see here. Pear had a question about 1 week remaining to deliver 300 Oceans, 50 cars a day starting tomorrow. Well, I don't think it would be that many assuming they don't build them over the weekend. Who knows? We don't really know right now with Fisker, what Fisker's doing with their production. They were supposed to get parts for the first 300 sometime in March here. We're still waiting on the regulatory approvals, the homologation. We're waiting on that. We're waiting on the regulatory approvals, the EPA numbers. We're waiting on a few things, and we're waiting on that update at the end of the month. That's what we talked about last week. So we're waiting for Henrik Fisker and maybe Fisker. Maybe there'll be a press release. Maybe it'll just be Henrik going on social media. Who knows? But some sort of an update. Today is March 22nd. Pulling up the calendar here, we have end of the month is Friday of next week. So maybe we'll get some sort of an update for the next All Things Fisker episode 21 on if there's anything to talk about. We'll be back here next week on Wednesday. If there isn't, maybe we'll still be back here. Who knows? We'll see what everyone's up to. But that's who knows if they're going to build 300 cars this month. Maybe that's going to be the update. I think Marty from Fisker's Whispers mentioned, maybe that update's going to be, hey, we finished all 300 cars, but maybe we're still waiting for approval. Maybe we're still waiting for something else, but we built all the cars. Now we're on to building the next 8,000 cars in Q2 2023. None of us know what's happening with that. They're pretty holding, their cards close to their vest, but to me, that's what this excitement is. That's why I track this. To me, it's fun. It's fun to track this stuff, to watch it. And nobody knows how this is going to shake out, but I'm waiting patiently as a Fisker Ocean One customer for my car to finance my car. And I'm hoping that's the next step. But actually, the next step will be getting probably the iOS app on my phone. That's probably the next step. And then maybe that's the app that will allow me to finance the Fisker Ocean. Maybe the financing will be on the Fisker website. I'm not sure, but I can't wait to drive the car on a regular basis. Today, gentlemen, we went bowling. I spent a good 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours at the bowling alley today with the family, and it was quite fun. I haven't bowled in 20 years. I don't know how long it's been, but for a long time. And it was fun. I ended up getting 143. That was the best I could do. But it was a good fun. A couple strikes here, a couple spares there, and it would have been fun to drive the Fisker Ocean to the bowling alley, but instead we drove our current car. But I can't wait for it. It's going to be so much fun to drive. If it's like driving the one in Graz, Austria, it'll be really fun to drive and probably be better than the one that I drove there. Because the computer should be more fine-tuned and it should be more rear-wheel drive biased, right? We're hoping for that. But yeah, that's I think that's all I got from my end here today. What do you got? You guys have anything else? Anything else you want to share? Anything else you want to say? Anything that we should talk about?
I'm good. I'm proud that we did a short episode today, and
yeah, that's actually something.
I just noticed that.
While we have people still in the chat, we have close to 80 people. What do people think of this new format where I read the news at the beginning and then we go into the discussion? Hearing from people that are still on this 80 people, and geez, have we been on here already for 2 hours and 21 minutes? God help me.
Yeah.
You were joking about a short show. Oh my God. But what do people, I'm like, maybe it's been an hour and a half. And then I saw the 2:21. God help me. So Rosanna likes it this way. We got, let's see here. I don't care if it takes 3 hours. Thanks, Gian. That's nice. It's fun. Yeah, I'm glad everyone has fun that's hopefully here still with us. I think we have fun doing it. That's why we do it. If it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be doing any of this. I could obviously spend my time doing other stuff for fun, but this is a cool hobby. Cool format. Thank you, OJ. So we have 3 people that have given us feedback about this format. Rosanna, I look forward to this every week. That's really neat. So cool. Anyone else who has feedback about this format, if you want to post it in the comments, feel free to do that. And we'll continue to do this format. And I've invited a couple other people to join us. Marty couldn't make tonight, but he'll probably be here next time we do this. And then I've invited 2 other people as well. The gentleman, Ed, who posted that video from the Ocean One wait list. I chatted with him by email. He's signed that Ocean One waitlist agreement. He's paid his £5,000. He's in the UK. He's paid his £5,000. He's chosen his color. He said he had to choose his build lock configuration before he paid his £5,000 because it would be totally locked and he wouldn't be able to edit anything. So he ended up, if I can find this real quick, he actually ended up with what did he choose? He chose I want to say, what did he choose? I have it here somewhere. He ended up choosing I think it was Malibu interior and maybe Mariana. I think that's what he chose. I'll have to double check that one, but it was cool. Yeah. So he shared some details with that. That was pretty neat. So I invited him. He might join us at a future episode, but he's in the UK, so time for him is going to be crazy to join us. And then Adam, who makes those videos, the // videos, I've invited him as well. Maybe he listens to this, or maybe you follow his channel. You can say, hey, you guys, you got to join the All Things Fisker. So we invited a couple more people. If there's other people you want us to invite to come on here, let me know. or let Jim and Matt know. And then also, if there's people that follow along that want to join as for 10 minutes, 5 minutes of the show and with chat, we can invite you as well, because that would be kind of fun to have other faces on here as well. So that's all we got for episode 20 of All Things Fisker. This was a short 2 hour, 24 minute and 25 minutes, 25 second show. Thanks everybody for joining. We will see you maybe next week, and everybody have a good rest of your day.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.